Brother, there is a moment many men overlook when they interact with a woman. It is not obvious, and it rarely comes with words, yet it reveals more about how she feels than any sentence she could speak. There is a certain point in physical closeness where a woman's body quietly tells the truth about her comfort, her trust, and her emotional openness. When she allows that level of closeness, it often means something deeper is already taking shape inside her mind and heart. And no, this is not about manipulative tricks, pickup tactics, or exaggerated alpha advice. Real human connection is far more subtle than that. What we are talking about here is the quiet language of touch, a language the human brain understands instinctively, even when no one says a single word. Welcome to a conversation about the hidden signals people share through simple physical contact. Today, we're exploring how certain types of touch can reveal emotional comfort and trust. When a woman allows access to a very particular level of closeness, it is rarely random or meaningless. In many cases, it reflects that she already feels safe, emotionally present, and open around you. Before you dismiss this idea as another internet myth, stay with the thought for a moment. Human beings are wired for connection through touch. Long before we learned to speak complex languages, our bodies communicated safety, affection, curiosity, and caution through physical contact. Even today, our nervous systems still rely on these signals more than we realize. Researchers who study human behavior and nonverbal communication often explain that touch carries emotional information. A simple gesture can communicate comfort, support, attraction, or reassurance. Our skin is filled with nerve endings that send signals directly to the brain, and those signals can trigger emotional responses almost instantly. For women especially, emotional awareness during touch can be very strong. Many women naturally pay close attention to subtle cues such as tone of voice, body language, and the intention behind physical gestures. This means when someone reaches out to touch them, they are often sensing far more than just a hand making contact. They are noticing energy, confidence, emotional stability, and whether the moment feels safe. That is why the way someone touches matters just as much as where the touch happens. Two people can place a hand on the same spot, yet the emotional reaction can be completely different. One interaction may feel warm and reassuring, while another may feel uncomfortable or distant. The difference usually comes from the intention, timing, and emotional presence behind the gesture. Think of the body almost like a map of comfort zones. Certain areas feel neutral and socially acceptable, while others are more personal and emotionally meaningful. As trust grows between two people, those boundaries may gradually shift. What once felt distant can begin to feel natural and relaxed. This gradual shift is not usually a conscious decision. Instead, it is guided by the nervous system. The brain is constantly asking silent questions. Is this person respectful? Do I feel safe here? Is this interaction calm and genuine? When the answers feel positive, the body often relaxes, shoulders soften, posture becomes more open, and physical distance may decrease. These subtle changes are the body's way of signaling trust. Unfortunately, many people miss these signals entirely. They assume every kind of touch means the same thing. They might think holding someone's hand carries the same emotional meaning as touching someone's shoulder or brushing a strand of hair away from the face. But in reality, each gesture can communicate something slightly different. Understanding these signals is not about gaining control over someone else. It is about becoming more aware of how human connection works. When we pay attention to comfort, respect boundaries, and move slowly with genuine care, physical interaction becomes a natural extension of emotional connection rather than a forced action. In the next part, we'll explore how different areas of the body tend to reflect different levels of comfort and trust. You may begin to notice how simple gestures can quietly reveal whether someone feels relaxed, curious, or emotionally close. As trust slowly develops between two people, physical contact often follows a natural progression. This progression is rarely planned, and most of the time, Neither person is consciously thinking about it. Instead, it unfolds through small, instinctive moments that reflect comfort and emotional safety. In the beginning, contact usually happens in what could be called neutral areas of the body. These are places where touch is generally considered socially acceptable and non-threatening. For example, a brief touch on the arm during a conversation or a light pat on the shoulder when sharing a laugh. These gestures usually carry very little emotional risk, which is why they often appear first when two people begin interacting. At this stage, the brain is still evaluating the situation. The nervous system is quietly scanning for signals. Is this person respectful? Do they seem calm and emotionally balanced? Does their presence feel comfortable or tense? If the interaction continues in a positive way, the body gradually relaxes. This is when small changes begin to appear. A conversation might last longer, personal space may shrink slightly, touch might linger for an extra second instead of disappearing immediately. These are tiny signals, but they often reflect growing ease. As comfort deepens, the hands can become an important point of connection. Hands are incredibly expressive. They communicate warmth, reassurance, and presence. When two people hold hands, even briefly, the nervous system often reacts in a powerful way. Skin-to-skin contact activates sensory receptors that send calming signals to the brain. Some researchers suggest that this kind of touch can even help lower stress levels and encourage the release of bonding hormones such as oxytocin. This is the same hormone associated with feelings of trust and emotional closeness. That is why holding hands can feel surprisingly meaningful even though the gesture itself seems simple. Another subtle moment of trust can appear around the lower back or waist area. When someone stands close enough to gently guide or rest a hand there, the person receiving the touch often cannot see it directly. Because of this, the reaction is usually instinctive. If the body remains relaxed rather than pulling away, it can signal that the interaction still feels safe. But it is important to remember that every individual has different comfort levels. Personal history, culture, and personality all influence how someone responds to physical closeness. Respecting those differences is essential. Real connection never comes from pressure or rushing forward too quickly. The key idea here is awareness. When someone feels comfortable, their body language often becomes more open without them realizing it. They might lean slightly closer during conversation. Their movements may become softer and more relaxed. Eye contact may last longer, and laughter may come more easily. All of these signals together form a quiet conversation happening beneath the surface. Words may still be casual and light, but the body is revealing deeper emotional information. In the next part, we'll explore the most personal zones of physical closeness and why certain gestures can feel especially meaningful to the human nervous system. These moments often appear only after genuine trust has already been established, which is why they can reveal so much about how someone truly feels. Now we reach the most intimate and revealing levels of physical closeness, where trust and emotional connection become clear without words. These zones are sensitive not just physically but emotionally. When someone allows access here, it often signals that they feel safe, respected, and understood at a deep level. One of the most telling areas is around the neck and face. The neck is vulnerable and biologically sensitive. When someone allows touch here, it is rarely casual. The body is showing instinctive trust. Similarly, the face represents identity and self-expression. Allowing gentle contact in this area signals a high degree of comfort and emotional openness. Yet there is one final, profoundly symbolic area that reveals something even more personal: the hair. Hair carries a unique blend of identity, femininity, and emotional expression. Women often touch or play with their own hair when they are nervous, processing emotions, or flirting. When someone allows another person to touch their hair, it is not a simple gesture. It is a form of surrender, a quiet act of trust. The body's response in these moments is instinctive, chemical, and neurological. If she leans in slightly, tilts her head, closes her eyes, or smiles naturally, these are signs her nervous system feels safe and connected. This isn't about conscious decision-making. It is a physical reflection of comfort and emotional security. Hair is not just hair, it's a symbol of personal expression and trust. Allowing someone access here only happens after a foundation of respect, patience, and genuine care has been built. What this teaches us is that physical touch is not about conquest, control, or manipulation. It is a silent conversation. Every gesture, every zone of contact communicates information about trust, safety, and connection. The body often speaks louder than words, especially when someone cannot or does not voice their feelings directly. The takeaway is simple yet powerful. Begin with respect and awareness and move slowly with genuine presence. Observe subtle reactions. Recognize when the body relaxes or becomes more open. Understand that each gesture can carry layers of meaning. By paying attention to these cues, you can connect more deeply while honoring boundaries and emotional safety. Ultimately, real connection is built step by step. Touch becomes a natural extension of emotional closeness, reflecting trust rather than forcing it. These insights are not about tactics or tricks. They are about understanding human behavior and fostering authentic relationships. If this perspective resonates, remember, every interaction is an opportunity to notice subtle signals, respond with care, and create a space where trust can flourish. Physical contact is a conversation, and when approached with respect and awareness, it can communicate more than words ever could. This is the essence of genuine connection, and it is a truth that can transform the way you understand the silent language of human interaction.